Hey guys, welcome back to Sad Dad. My name's Dave Abkarian. I am a comedian out of Fresno, California. And this is a show where I have my fellow funny friends come on and we talk about dads. Hi. I gotta make this quick. I have my podcast recording station. It's just at my kitchen table, but the air conditioner for my house is right by the kitchen table, and I had to turn off the air conditioning because you can't have that running while you're recording. But it's like 104 degrees outside. It's so hot. So hot. And this is actually my second take because, like an idiot, I did my whole first take talking about today's guest, and I used the wrong name. And so I had it all recorded, and I listened back, and I was saying the wrong name the entire time. It's because I was talking to one comedian on my, and I was texting someone. It doesn't matter. Because I have a killer show for you guys today. I'm so hoarse. We had a great show last night, and then afterwards we all went out to karaoke, and I just screamed my guts out when my friends were going up and performing. I didn't perform though. I wasn't feeling it. My voice was shot anyway. I don't know what I'm. Anyway. Rick Wood. Rick Wood is our guest today. He is phenomenal. This episode starts off real silly and real fun, and then it gets real interesting, and Rick really opens up about a lot of stuff. And yeah, I listened back to it yesterday because I record them a couple of weeks out, and sometimes I just forget. I mean, I talk to so many people, record so many podcasts that I'm always genuinely surprised sometimes at how it all turns out and what comes of these conversations. So yeah, you're gonna love this one. I think that is it for now. I'm gonna catch you on the other side of this thing. I think yeah, I'm just gonna stop talking, guys. Rick Wood, enjoy.
Shaky. Dialogue's bad. A lot of it.
It is.
It's just fun. It's campy.
It's campy.
Camp done well.
And like I am. I think our levels are good. Can you talk into your mic?
Oh yeah. Get on.
Yeah.
Get in here.
Like I was when I was watching those movies as a kid, I was like, yeah, this stuff is cool. Like this whole Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader thing is cool. But like, what's happening over there? Like, what's going on? Like on that planet?
Oh yeah, what everyone else is. Yeah, you're like, what's this? I'm almost to the minutia of it. Like, what's day to day? Like, if you're not. Because you think the only thing in Star Wars is like you're either a rebel or the bad guy or whatever they are, and that's there's just a guy clocking in at, like his land speeder repair shop on Tatooine, just turning a wrench, and he's got to come back to his shitty kid who's like, Dad, I want to. Whatever a toy is in space.
Stand kids.
And he's like, I can't afford this. There's a trade embargo. Catalytic super converters are costing me an arm and a leg. Look at that. I got 6 of each.
Well, and two, like on that same point is like we really, I mean, especially in those movies, like you don't really know like how bad is the Empire. Like
that's what I always think. They have dental.
Yeah, right. I mean, like what's a day? Like are they really that bad?
Especially after the last one, they were. That was my complaint with the Last Jedi or whatever. I'm like, these fucking rebels suck at fighting. They're really bad at. They're terrible at war, which maybe means they're nice people. But
sure, maybe.
I know if you say you didn't like the movie, like you hate every person who's not a straight white male over 60 apparently now, but it was a fine movie, but I'm just like, you guys, you're getting your asses kicked. You're so, and then when the girl knocks the guy away from driving his thing into the battering ram laser.
Yeah, at the very end.
I'm like, what now? What? It's a beautiful gesture. It's a great little speech.
Yeah,
but if Luke Skywalker, spoiler alert, by the way, if you haven't seen the highest grossing film of the year yet, it's not that important to you.
It's been 5 months.
Yeah, you have time to listen to this podcast of a comedian you've never heard of, but you're still holding out to see Star Wars off of Pirate Bay.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm leaving an iTunes review.
But if Luke Skywalker's ghost doesn't show up and save the day, he'd be dead, you'd be dead, your fucking friends would be dead, everyone would be dead, and no one had any clue that would just hold out for a miracle.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
So stuff like that, I'm like, I don't think I could join up with you guys. You got a lot of poor command decisions going on.
I thought the end of that, I thought that whole scene was going to go like you were going to see like Luke Skywalker like flipping around, like cutting down the walkers with his lightsaber. But instead you got that weird.
They went more understated.
Yeah. And I was like, that's cool.
It's like those kung fu movies where the master, like he's better than you because he doesn't hit you. Like he's always able to block or evade.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean it was definitely a class, but I just thought the whole. I mean, I don't know. Have we seen like a long distance astral projection like that in the movie? You know what I mean?
It was a new element.
Yeah,
right?
It just felt very like Ex Machina type of. Like,
it was a total. Man, most of that fantastic shit has.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, where you're like everyone's decisions, their whole survival hinged on this, like totally out of the blue. Like it was something no one would have predicted.
Right.
Like those people in that cave, like. You wouldn't be like, oh, maybe Luke Skywalker will appear as a ghost and fool this guy into buying us enough time to escape out of a thing we didn't think we could. It's just all this last minute, like, oh, shit. And you're like, good for you. Good. I'm glad you got out because I do want to see the next flick. But I mean, without these two miracles, you'd just be a blood stain in a cave.
I feel that way about the Jurassic Park movies too, with the Tyrannosaurus Rex always showing up at the last second and just being a good guy.
Oh yeah.
But
like,
why? Like it's
stuff like that too. I feel like that's why it's a good story. Like people go, that would never happen. I go, yeah, or the odds of that are so slim. I go, yeah, that's why it's a story. Like someone's like a movie where everything goes the way life normally goes. That's like a Jim Jarmusch movie. Yeah. I like watching them because I'll sit and look at brooding, tedious, boring shit, like slice of life examined. Yeah. But I realize that there's a very good reason why I'm always in that theater with like 3 other guys sitting alone.
Sure. This is not for everybody.
That's not exciting. Some fucking Adam Driver with a laser sword is much more appealing and exciting than Adam Driver driving a bus around writing fucking poems. and that's it. And like the dog eats the poem book is like that's his fucking Darth Vader.
Everybody's got to have a Darth Vader, I suppose.
The ultimate dad story.
Yes.
Is Darth Vader a sad dad?
He's dealing with a lot. I would imagine there's a lot of guilt. I always get all choked up at the end of Jedi, where he kind of like has his redemption moment.
Yeah, and then you see the prequels, and you're like, oh, he was a fucker because his dad wasn't around.
Yeah, and his dad was the Force. And we're just celebrating this thing. Yeah. So you're Rick Wood. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I've been recording us for the last 5.5 minutes.
I think that's gold.
Yeah, I think that was fun.
Great. We got is it a Star Wars podcast now?
Yeah, right. Well, I try not.
But Star Wars that's our nation's dad story. Before that was the Bible.
Nothing so lame.
Or that movie, The War, with Kevin Costner.
Was Kevin Costner The War?
I think that was him. What, those kids were having problems with the lip kickies or whatever?
Oh, man, I don't know. But
there's a bunch of Southern kids.
That doesn't predate Star Wars, does it?
No, it's in between now and Star Wars. Well, Star Wars is wrapped all around everything.
Oh, yeah. Now they're talking about like...
Only the Star Dead have seen the end of Star War.
the
Star Plato.
I like how philosophical we're getting with this Star Wars thing. And we'll never see the end of Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like, Disney's just going to keep... Correct. You're going to see Solo today.
Yeah, I think I'm going to see it.
And that's...
I like Han Solo.
That's just what's going to happen.
He was dad, too. That's a dad story. A lot of dad stories in Star Wars.
There are. And those things, like, speak to me. I don't know.
Bad dads.
Bad star dads.
Was Han Solo a bad dad? I bet he wasn't that great.
They did ship off, Kylo Ren.
Yeah, he was, like, with his uncle learning to be a space ninja. So that's pretty fun.
That'd be, like, a really cool summer camp thing.
They were trying to nourish his talents.
I don't think he had much of a say in it, though. I think is where it makes it kind of...
Oh, so he's like a violin prodigy.
Exactly.
It's like parents are hitting him with a ruler. I don't know. I think that's
laser
violin. Yeah.
Just wrapping him on the
knuckles.
Space nuns. You're a comedian. You're out of Los Angeles, California.
That's it.
Yeah. Now, we started to talk about this. You grew up out in Los Angeles? We talked about it last night.
I grew up in Virginia.
Oh, no shit.
Southeast Virginia.
Really? How long were you out there?
From the age like 5 to 18.
Oh, okay.
So I was born in Milwaukee, and my dad was in the Coast Guard, so we bounced around between Milwaukee and Muskegon, Michigan for years that I don't remember. I got a few memories of playing in snow and shit in Michigan.
Oh, that's fun.
And then, remember packing up and moving away from all my first few months of kindergarten friends to go live in old Virginia.
Yeah. Did you start comedy out in Virginia? Or
No, I didn't start comedy till I was like 27.
Oh, okay.
So I was living in Wisconsin at the time.
Really? What's a Wisconsin comedy scene like?
Small.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the time, this was like 6 years ago. 7 years ago. The comedy boom hadn't really... I think like WTF had only had like 80 episodes or something. Maybe like, 90. Gallagher had just been on WTF on a date around when I started stand-up. And I was doing music before that and been playing. That was like the original... That was like the first thing I remember wanting to do.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of musicians I knew at some festival I was at in Wisconsin were like, you should do comedy, which I took as like an insult.
Yeah.
Like, I'm brooding, man. I'm like Nick Cave.
I'm
man.
deep. Yeah.
But I really was, between writing these sad, depressing songs and shit, I was cutting up a lot.
Yeah.
And I think they were just saying, like, you should try comedy because you're funny, which is not necessarily accurate advice.
Sure.
And so I was dropping some people off after it was like a Halloween themed festival and shows thing. I was dropping some people off at the airport, and the airport was between my house and this comedy club my brother had been going to just to see shows. And I saw from him posting about the place. Because I'd always liked comedy and sort of wanted to try it out. I was like, I don't even know. It's one of those weird things where you don't know where you could do it.
Right.
Like most comedians, I guess now it's everywhere, so you don't think that. But from before, there was like an open mic in every comic book shop.
Yeah.
There's this idea of like, yeah, I want to do this, but I don't know. I don't think you can. I think you have to like be in New York City.
Yeah.
And but I saw they had an open mic, and it was the same day I was dropping these people off the airport, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go do this open mic. I'm gonna go bomb.
Yeah.
And I'll go back and tell everyone like, nah, can't do comedy. I gotta keep writing these sad songs. But then I had fun instead.
Oh, shit.
And I fucking kept doing it.
That's great. There's so much of a parallel between music and comedy. Like, I mean, who was I talking to had a great analogy about comedy having genres like music has genres,
Yeah, it definitely does. But it's not marketed that way. So it makes it like... And so some nights I feel like you're like a jazz musician getting ready to go on at Ozfest.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, I'm in deep shit.
This is gonna be rough. Yeah.
Like sure. Coltrane's a genius, no doubt. But you put him on between like Mudvayne and fucking Ozzy, he's gonna have a rough set.
Absolutely. Yeah. Who had the analogy? I think it was Nick Petrillo. My favorite was Jim Gaffigan and Brian Regan are like just a nice folk album. You know?
Oh, yeah. I like Jim Croce.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone listen footsteps.
Just easy listening, But I mean, did you draw? I mean, because I've seen you have rad T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, but they're like this is the most preposterous shit. Like it's so presumptuous. Like, who the fucking, like most comics will put something funny that someone would want to wear, and then maybe their website's real small on it. Mine's like Rick Wood, I'm a brand. Yeah, it's like Iron Maiden graphics and shit.
It's fucking cool as shit. I think,
but people have to really like my set to want to buy the shirt.
Yeah.
There's nothing. That's it.
I think it's cool. And Lisa Curry has a shirt like that too. Did you guys go to the same guy for that art?
Nah, she. I can't remember that guy's name, but that's his thing, is doing those They Live style.
Yes.
He did I think he did Trump and some other stuff. Yeah, hers is cool.
Yeah.
They Live one. I went to Ed Brescia, who does a lot of like L.A., Southern California comedy art, like shows like Chatterbox and Covina.
Yeah,
that's how I know him from. And he moved out to San Antonio and was trying to get settled and get work, and he's like, basically on Facebook, like, hey, really could use a little income right now, so if anyone wants a deal on art. And I didn't need any graphics, but I had money in the bank that I guess I earned, but didn't feel like I deserved any more than anyone else. Sure. So I was like, all right, I'll just fucking buy something from Ed so that he has some money.
That's cool.
And I like his stuff too a lot, but it And so I did feel, normally I'd be like, do what you want, you're an artist. But I was like, I want the Iron Maiden from Killers thing. But
yeah, what's his name?
It's like
Eddie?
my favorite. Yeah, Eddie. Eddie from the Killers album, but do it like my fucking haircut instead of his.
That's great. I definitely think that there needs to be more of that. Like, I've been thinking about getting a series of shows started in a different part of town, and there's this bar down there that does a lot of shows, a lot of music shows. But like along their back wall, they have posters from shows that years gone by. But these posters have all been up in this bar for so long. You recognize the poster. You don't know who the bands are.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're like, there's one that stands out as this band Grip. It was a local band, but I've wanted to do like comedy posters modeled off of those specific, you know, those music posters.
That shit's great. Like graphic, I love graphics.
Yeah,
the graphics design is like one of my little side hustles, I guess.
Is it really?
Are you? I like doing it. Yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes I'm a hack, and other times I'm good at making shit for me because I know what I want.
Sure.
And then other people, they don't know what they want,
Yeah.
and then like, I don't want to get too into that. Sometimes people are like, I want this, and you're like, that's bad though.
Yeah,
that's what they want, and you have to try and do it.
I'm not lowering my artistic.
Yeah, but I wish like there's more. Comedy is now starting to get cool graphics. Rock and roll's always had awesome aesthetics, and comedy, it's just like. It's always that old vintage microphone that no one's ever done fucking stand up in.
Yeah.
It's the posters are like, it's, you know, and it's just because people go, oh, it's a comedy poster.
I feel like podcasts were slightly ahead of comedy in figuring that out. Like,
you know, they got to be on iTunes and have cool.
Yeah,
it's like aesthetic shit. It's like it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, in like just cool variants. You know, I mean, like I think every comedian that has an album obviously has some kind of a cover art done for them. I mean, maybe it's just their portrait or whatever.
Yeah, it's very like comedy album covers are all like folk music album covers.
Yeah.
It's like this is the artist.
I think we can get wackier with it. You know, I think we need to lean into that more.
I'm at a point where I'm like, all right, maybe I should think about putting together a record and doing whatever. But I was like, I'm not going to do it until someone approaches me, and then it's been like enough. No one great has been like, we really want to, but it's at a point where people are like, yeah, you should do this, and these people, you know, whatever. And I was like, yeah, I don't know, we'll see. And then I saw some art where I was like, oh, I got an idea for an album cover. That was the main. It's probably the worst reason to be jumpstarted to do something, but now I'm like, yeah, if I can get this artist to do it, then all right, I'll find a place and I'll record an hour.
You know, art inspires art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that's a perfectly valid reason, in my opinion. You know, I think that's great. And you're good at that. I mean, you're able to pull some really interesting ideas out of relatively like esoteric things, you know, in your act.
Thanks. Yeah, I feel like I'm just juggling bullshit up there, but I'm trying to make it funny.
Dude, your MGD bit killed so hard last night. I think people find that really endearing around here. Like, I think that plays really well.
Once in a while, I'll be like in Portland. I had some people in the front row. Like, basically the bit is like, I don't like craft beer. I just don't like. I try to do it in a way where I'm not just shitting on craft beer, because I'm also like, I don't care if you like it.
Yeah, right.
But I'm just tired of being judged because High Life or MGD and Miller Lite, they taste about the same.
Yeah,
I could get into the differences, the way someone can tell you why Pliny the Elder is different than like Stone IPA or whatever the fuck.
Sure.
But you know, it's just that's what beer tastes like to me.
Yeah,
that's how.
I mean, people get it around here. I think it's sort of craft. The whole craft beer thing is kind of overstated its welcome a little bit, and in kind of the same way that. You know, people are tired of, you know, vegans, you know? I mean, like...
Yeah, there's just this idea that, like, your diet now dictates that you're somehow a loftier person.
Yeah. It's just a weird, like identify... Like, a way to identify yourself. Like, oh, you identify yourself based on the things you put in your body.
It's part of that. It's like the extremes thing of how everyone is socially, politically now.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm pretty left wing. Like, I have some radical ideas.
Yeah.
But I also don't like trying to use that to make people feel bad.
Yeah.
For not, you know, like I don't like a bigot, you know, idea, but I'm not progressive so that I can make a big feel. I'd rather try to be an example. I still have this, like, I don't know if it's a delusion that, like, you can reason. Like, you know, if you meet a racist, you're like, you really hate every black person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. So you've met them all? Like, or did you just meet one asshole who happened to be a black guy, and that's in your fucking head now? And then, you know, ideally they would be like, yeah, I guess Chuck was a fucking dick that day, and now I hate everyone who looks like Chuck. And you're like, yeah, see, you just need therapy.
Yeah, right, dude.
But
you're projecting.
It's probably more complicated than that.
Yeah, no
but
doubt.
I'm simple, so I have a simple, ideal answer in my
head.
head.
I like that optimism, though. You know, that, like, let's just fucking talk this shit through. You know.
Yeah. But then the idea is, if I think that I'm supposed to also drink a $12 beer that I don't like to take, like, you know, it's like dressed in all fucking denim and drinking a High Life on first blush. It's like, all right, this guy's either like got his whole own hipster thing going, or he's some kind of redneck. And
right.
No, this is just the shit I like. Like, I don't associate cheap domestic beer. It doesn't make me think, oh, also I have to want to scream the N-word in a NASCAR race or something. It's just like,
well, and too, I mean,
you can mix it up.
Well, and I mean, you got to give it to those big beer companies too. I mean, it can't be easy to, like, make millions of gallons taste exactly the same. You know?
They got a whole big job.
Yeah. I mean, I see these. I've seen these small breweries. I mean, they're like, we swear this is the same beer. I mean, it tastes way different, but it's got the same label as that last one you drank, but it was made in March, so it might taste different.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Yeah. We're tinkering with. Well, we put a little extra dash of nutmeg in.
The worst is when they don't know why.
Yeah,
I've had that before too. I'm like, we don't know why this tastes different.
There's always flavors I don't want too. It's like, this one is oatmeal. I'm like, well, I eat oatmeal sometimes when I think I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get my heart in better shape so my dick's harder. Like, that's the way I approach fitness.
The only one of those that I've tried recently that I actually really did like was they actually serve it at the venue we're at tonight. But the milk stout, there's a milk stout.
Some of them are good. Yeah. Like and I'm not like I am anti.
Sure.
But it's like another thing to me. Like, having a beer, having a cold one or whatever, is not this, like, heavy. Also, I don't want to do a lot of thinking when I'm drinking either. You know, people like are. I feel like I'm just adding to my bit now.
You're fine.
But they're like,
I've gotten so many.
They
bits
want to
just
explain, you know, they're like, oh, this beer. I'm like, this is not why I like to have a drink. Like, I do like a familiar, simple taste. Mm-hmm. It's like Pavlovian. It's like the alcohol certainly helps.
Yeah.
I do like, you know, but just having like a really frosty cold beer that just kind of tastes like a Singa if you're at a Thai bar, or a fucking Leo if they've got it, which is like their shit beer. It's fucking great. You know, or if a bar has High Life in a bottle, I'm like, you're my favorite bar.
Well, and like you,
it's just cold as shit, and you're just like, yep, it's like a blankie.
I mean, it's like sense memory, you know, and you know, especially for somebody, you know, like yourself that does a lot of traveling. MTV is going to be everywhere, you know, or whatever it is you're drinking.
Yeah, you just got the thing. You go. I knew this guy who was touring with a band, and this sounds kind of annoying that they did, but the band he toured, he was like a hired drummer, you know, and he's like, the tour kind of sucks because we eat at Cracker Barrel every day or everywhere we go. But it was like the singer or whoever's band was, he's on the road so much. He's like, this is like the one, he goes, this restaurant is fucking everywhere. You can get a big truck from a tour into the parking because they're always like out on the highway. It's like Cracker Barrel is just like a fucking truck stop, and the theme is like old timey racism.
Yeah. And right. We went out to Louisiana and saw a shit ton of Cracker Barrels. I don't think we have any in Fresno right
There's
now.
like nothing overtly racist, but it just feels kind of like this is like kind of old timey plantation vibe. Why are you selling toy whips in the gift shop? By the way,
definitely some dog whistle bullshit going on here.
All right. And it's one of those things where I don't know if there's an overt conspiracy of like, let's make a racist chain of restaurants, or they're just like, oh, we just like it. You're like, yeah, well, on a DNA level, it reminds you of never having to lift anything.
Isn't that what? Yeah, didn't
except for your hand as a threat, you fucking creepy motherfuckers.
Isn't that what Paula Deen got in trouble for? Was she had like a period?
Yeah, like antebellum.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's like just like a stupidity fueled, ignorance fueled race. Yeah. That's what most of it, like a lot of it is. You know, there's clearly just horrible people out there. There's also people who are just like, oh, I didn't know. It's like, yeah, And then someone's trying to tell you, but now you're just gonna fight on Twitter about it.
Yeah. Well, and that was something you and I were talking about last night too. Not necessarily with the racism thing, but like the whole pronoun thing and how it's hard sometimes if you're working two jobs, to.
Yeah, I think there's people whose heads barely above water, and then like a lot of everything's changing faster than ever now because communication's so quick.
Right.
And you can evolve, and then someone goes, all right, well, we're just gonna say this because it doesn't seem like it's gonna be offensive to anyone. Someone's like, actually, it does bother me. Like, all right, well, we're gonna work it out, and so we're constantly tweaking, which is a good thing. But then there's people who are like, hey, I'm sorry, I've been fucking in the back of a Jack in the Box like nonstop, sweating over meat because I'm fucking terrified they're going to take my house away. What are we calling everyone now? I just want to get
because I couldn't really touch my phone.
Yeah,
my hands are all greasy. At a certain point,
you just turn into a resentful motherfucker who's like, trips between opioid addictions and trying to fucking work, and you're just mad at all those goddamn queer ass liberals because they made you learn a bunch of new words.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where that's a lot of what we saw happen. Back in 2016, I feel like a lot of the election was just kind of like a backlash from like the overreach of PC culture.
Yeah, but their whole thing is like all these people, they're getting their feelings hurt too. Everyone's like saying the same thing. You're a bunch of pussies who can't take anything.
Yeah,
it's like. You too. Everyone's just like...
Nobody can take anything.
And it's not really that hard to just be cool. Most people, once in a while, you're going to get someone who's like got a hair trigger.
Yeah.
And it's probably because they've got a lot of shit that's been building up. Right. So you say something you don't mean to, or maybe you're just being edgy or whatever, and then they go off. And then, then if you have a hair trigger too, then now you have an incident.
Yeah.
And I've been guilty of getting into fights like that kind of thing. But it's like... you just say something like, all right, look, I didn't be, But most of the time, if you're not trying to be a dick, everyone's going to be, and someone might tell you, like, hey, it's kind of like, I had a friend once told me that. I made like some dumb joke. We were all sitting around bullshitting, and it was just a bunch of white dudes and our Mexican friend. And not like he was it just happened to be, there was like white people, and there was other Mexicans around. They were just doing something else at the party. And then our friend Fernando's sitting there. Everyone was talking about how they don't like visiting their family. Mm-hmm. It's like, fuck them. I don't like going home. It's just a pain in the ass. I don't like my dad and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then a friend was like, I love my family. And I was like, Mexicans, man, loving their families. And he was like, that's not cool. And I was like, huh. And I didn't get it. I was like, it was like a compliment. It was a weird, jokey way to me. But then later I was like, I made you being with us about you just be a Mexican. Like, I was just like, you're different. And it's like, no one wants to feel that,
Sure, absolutely. I mean, and it's important to be able to like take that feedback.
And he wasn't a dick.
It.
He was just very like, don't do it.
Yeah,
I was like, all right, cool.
Just don't do that.
Yeah,
man.
he didn't try to make me feel bad. Mm-hmm. No one tried to make anyone feel bad. Everyone just tried to make everyone like know how they feel or whatever. That's like it was mature.
And when you can come at it in such a disarming manner like he did, I mean, you're not putting your defenses up. Like you were able to like receive that, and and it was all.
And I didn't feel like I was like being like, oh, you can't say anything. I was like, all right,
that's cool.
I mean, I got to say it too. I didn't get hit or nothing. You know what I mean? I said it. And then he said what he wanted to say. The First Amendment was fucking rolling. Everyone was using it. It was going
Tears
great.
Running down everybody's eyes, singing "God Bless America."
We used it for its intended purpose, discourse, and we arrived to a conclusion of all right, cool.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's it.
Yeah. Okay, so you started comedy. I forget where we left off on that.
Sorry, I get on a fucking tangent.
At what point did you make the move out to LA?
2012, like the beginning of the year. So I started comedy like around the end. Like November 1st of 2010. And then, so I moved to LA sooner than really anyone probably should. But I was living in Wisconsin. There wasn't really anything going on. There was just these two clubs. One wasn't a lot of opportunities to get on stage.
Sure.
The other one had an open mic, and it was a bad club.
Yeah.
You could host sometimes, which is not that great. And then it eventually closed down a little bit after I moved. And I was like, and I'd already lived in Chicago. I mean, my wife wanted to get the fuck out of Wisconsin. We had this house. Like, we moved from Chicago to Wisconsin because she got some job. And we're like, we'll just buy a house because that's what rent was in Chicago. It was like the price of a mortgage. So we'll just, like, get used to it.
Yeah.
And then a few years after, like 4 years after living in Wisconsin, we're like, this is miserable. Like, we live in a small, weird town where everyone's super old and there's nothing. We're like in our 20s. We still want to do stuff. Mm-hmm. Couldn't sell the house because we bought it in 2007. And then 2008, something happened to the housing market.
What was that? Oh, somebody was blowing bubbles?
Luckily, we've gotten rid of all those regulations to keep it from happening again. So someone else. So listen up, kids. If you want to know how to not do what I did, don't buy a house.
Just live in your car in a shitty apartment, buy a gym membership.
Just keep paying rent. No, but we couldn't sell it because the value dropped immediately after buying it. So we just fucking left it and moved to LA.
Yeah.
My wife always wanted to live in California. And I was like, well, man, I just want to live somewhere not here, preferably somewhere where it doesn't get cold.
Sure.
I've had enough snow, and you can do comedy in LA over here.
Yeah.
I'm not going out. I wasn't like, I'm going to go out there and make it. No, I'm ready. I was like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to hide.
Yeah.
I'm going to find the least popular open mics and
just feel the scene
just
out.
try to get good at stand-up, which is terrible advice. I'd say if you're doing comedy at all, just move immediately. Don't worry if you know how to do it. Just go in and act like you're the best at it, and everything will be fine.
Fake it till you make it, man. There's so much truth.
Quicker.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what you're gonna do once everyone starts to notice you're a fraud, but so far I haven't seen that pan out for the people that did the first step in my brief time doing this.
Has your wife always been pretty supportive of the comedy thing?
Yeah, more so than the music.
Okay, that's good.
So she's. Well, at first time I did Mike, I came home and I was like, it was fucking so. I felt like I was like on coke or something.
Yeah,
I was like, it was an adrenaline. It's never felt that exciting. I've had much better sets, but there's never been that level of excitement. And then at some point she came down to see it, and after a while, because I was pretty good at it already. Not like because I'm such a genius or something, but I'd already been hosting music open mics and playing.
Sure.
Like I knew how to just be in front of a room full of people.
Right. And you were a little older too.
It's like being older helps a lot because I had a point of view. Like I had ideas in my head, and I can get drunk at the bar and then hold the attention of the bar with bullshit, which is kind of my act.
Yeah, sure.
It's like a little more craft than what it used to be. And, more dense punchline heavy, but same idea. So there was like a knack for it coming in, and my wife was like, "Oh, you could do this."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Yeah, I think I could."
That's
I hadn't gone to college or anything. I didn't have any other skills. It was like cooking food for old folks at this retirement home.
Oh wow,
great! I love that job. It was like meaningful.
Do you still have a day job, or are you still?
I worked for a TV show. I work on MTV's Ridiculousness.
Why did I not know that?
Oh, because I don't run around saying it.
Yeah, because you don't like credits. That's right.
Yeah,
that's usually how I find out anybody does anything. Is what credits you want, man? Like me asking.
Once in a while, people bring that up, and I'll be like, "Don't." It's nothing.
Yeah.
No one. I guess people have heard of that show. They're like, wow, and I'm like, yeah. What? I didn't write. This guy fell off a roof and hit his dick on a fence. It's just like I was like, we should put that on the show.
That's it.
And someone else was like, yeah, we should. And then someone else was like, all right, let's try it out. And then Rob Dyrdek's like, okay. So it's like, I want like a first line of offense. So.
Seems like a fun job, though.
It is fun. Yeah, it's a good job. Yeah. But in my head, it does not correlate to he's gonna be good at telling you jokes now.
Sure. Two totally different skill sets. Yeah.
These things are not related.
That's funny. Oh, cool. Well, all right. That's the first. Well, that was fun. Let's. You have a dad?
I do. Yeah, he's somewhere.
Is he? You said he was in the Coast Guard?
He was. Yeah, well, all growing up, and then when I was like 10, maybe he got out of the Coast Guard and. I don't know. Where do you usually start? With we used to go through my dad's life.
I just kind of feel it out.
This guy in the Coast Guard. When we moved to Virginia, he'd be out to sea a lot. It was almost like having a Navy dad.
Oh,
Except
really?
I'm sure the Navy has to do more shit, or I want a bunch of pissed off Navy people going, those goddamn puddle pirates don't. But he was out in the fucking ocean for like 6 months at a time.
Really?
So he just wasn't really around.
I didn't know that the Coast Guard did that.
They usually don't, I don't think, but they do have like ocean coastal. Like a lot of it was. When the war on drugs was kind of heavy in the early 90s, right. They were just like patrolling for drug boats coming from...
And this is when you were in Virginia?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So they'd go down to like the Caribbean mostly.
I gotcha.
And then they there was a Haitian refugee crisis in the 90s. I mean, there's kind of always any region that we tend to keep unstable, we have those pigeons come home to roost.
Your dad is there.
Yeah, or chickens, whatever. I don't want to. I'm not insulting anyone by calling them a specific breed of bird. Whatever the fucking colloquialism is. But they would have to go. You got people in the middle of the goddamn ocean like clinging on like styrofoam beer coolers and shit. Just trying to get the fuck out of the bad situation, and then they pick people up. It was weird. There's rules. It's like if you made it so far, it's like, all right, you're coming. We'll take you back to America. But if you're this close to Haiti, you have to get dropped back off at Haiti.
Oh wow! Like if you're still bobbing around in international waters, you're sorry, buddy.
It's like, I don't know. We're gonna take you somewhere.
Holy shit!
But he's doing shit like that. Yeah. And, but some of it was interesting. He'd be gone. He'd write letters from the boat, and they'd be like in like coded letters and shit.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's like he's like kind of. I think my dad's slightly autistic or something.
Oh, really?
I mean, I probably am too. Everyone's on the spectrum nowadays.
Sure, yeah.
But he's the kind of guy who could read a book through a party.
Really?
Yeah,
that was his move.
Not could, would.
Oh, wow.
And then send letter. And to get your letters from dad, you have to like crack a code. Like, this is gonna be great when I'm in the CIA. And now computers do those jobs.
Yeah, you gotta write off for a decoder ring to Ovaltine, Dad.
Drink your Ovaltine, love it.
Where did he grow up though?
Hammondsport, New York.
Hammondsport, New York,
which is like the Finger Lakes region, which I couldn't find it on a fucking map.
Really?
New York's too big, and I only know where the city is.
That's fair.
But it's up there, up north somewhere. I don't know why you need to find a map. You can Google it. Google will find it for you, right?
Yeah.
I think it's somewhere. Yeah, he grew up there, and then
was he kind of a nerdy kid growing up, or was he like the jock, or what kind of?
I think he was, back then it seems like kids were kind of all around.
Sure.
Right? You'd hear about a guy who was like, oh, he's great at math, and he was on the football team. Like, just, you tried, no one specialized. Like, now kids, people, like, by the time they're 5, if you don't know what they're going to excel at, you've ruined their whole life.
Yeah.
So, but he was, like, the best at math, I think, in his school or something like that. And then, which, this is, like, 16 kids school.
Sure.
But he's analytical. He's got that kind of intelligence. And then it's kind of country-ish, sort of like there's a lot of vineyards around there. It's like it's like an East Coast kind of wine country because they have that thing where the grapes will frost without freezing or dying, whatever it is, because of the thermals off the lake. So if you go up this mountain, just some weird shit where you can grow wine grapes there.
Okay, all right.
And so his family, I think, way back was like they were partial owners of Taylor Wine Company. So at some point in my family's history, we could have been like wine barons or whatever. But I don't know if I'm getting this story right. But someone gambled it away in a hand of cards and then jumped off of a roof.
What? So, okay. So you got that ridiculousness in your blood.
Yeah. It's a little bit. Jumped off to death of the roof.
Really?
It wasn't for fun.
Shit.
That ridiculousness is in the blood. A lot of like, oh man, I fucked up. Well, I guess I can always kill myself.
There's always that option. Yeah. Oh shit.
So my dad's dad used to say, like, he gave all my dad his old hunting guns and shit, like all these shotguns, and he kept the nicest one. Like, it's big. I don't know what it was. I don't know much about differences between I know the gauges. Sure. I think it was like a pretty good gun. And my dad goes, why are you keeping that one? For if you're done hunting and you're too old for all that shit. My grandma goes, I'm gonna need that one more time.
Shit.
And then he got Alzheimer's and forgot to do it. So I don't know. That's the kind of sense of humor my family has too. Sure. So you never know. It's one of those things where it's like, it could be a good joke or a promise.
Promise or cry for help.
Yeah.
Or who knows?
Not like in a sad way, just in a like, my dad's dad was tough as fucking. I didn't get to meet him very much, which is kind of a regret. But I know stories, and I talked to my dad's sisters probably more than him, and then just a hard nut motherfucker. And not like in a. I mean, I imagine he probably had dick moments for people around him more, and he had a temper, which I have some of that. But it's like in that way where you just get real mad, and then you just fucking peel out. Like instead of staying around screaming at everyone, like, fuck all of you, and then you just find them down at like the fucking diner eating pie later. Motherfuckers telling me what.
Goddamn blueberries, people.
Yeah, gotta get some more ice cream.
That's what. So did your dad have any of that? I mean, was your?
Oh, he's a good temper. He could have. Yeah, he would get mad too. But then he would just like lock himself in his room and sit on his computer or whatever.
Sure.
Shit like
So
he would get my dad and me get the same mad about. Which is weird because he didn't have a big influence on me because he's either in the Coast Guard. When my parents got divorced, I didn't see him a whole lot.
Sure.
It wasn't like a constant, like, oh, me and my dad, I'm just like my dad. But there's some genetic thing to it where, like, if I can't fix something that's, like, if I'm trying to fix a thing that's broken, it's, like, not working out, I get so fucking angry. And I want to smash it and shit. I remember... Someone got a CD stuck in his CD player, like, and he was trying to get it out. He could swear so well. Just like the dad from Christmas Story, kind of like Joe Pesci in Home Alone,
like
but
they're
just a real batch of cursing.
And then so he's bumming around in small town New York. Finger Lakes area, and then he goes to college. What does he do after that?
Nah, he just joined the Coast Guard. You know what happened was his Vietnam draft number was like fucking 4, and he's like, well, Coast Guard sounds like a more fun.
Yeah, I think that was the better call.
But I mean, this is just how you can use statistics to say whatever you want. Sometimes most deaths per capita is in Brandy Branch was the Coast Guard.
Really?
But it's a very small branch. So, like, if 2 of them fall off a boat during Vietnam and drown, that's like a tragedy. That's the most deaths per capita.
That's something, I mean...
It wasn't like being a Marine, and get your brain splattered all over a tree. That's definitely happening.
If you're at the bar and you're picking up women, that's a nice hook to hang your hat on, you know?
Yeah. We are the most deaths per capita, statistically.
And so he does the Coast Guard. And
he just stayed in that. I think he's the kind of person who thrive in that kind of structure.
Sure.
The military is kind of good for, like, you know, all right, he's kind of got a, from what I remember, you know, like that kind of, not like a military dad at home. Like, I know people whose dad would come home and it was like they were in the military too, which is like, fuck, he was never really on us about shit. But he was neat. You know, he likes to organize and he's the kind of guy who, like, he has a binder of like a listing of every like movie he owned or like video computer software, like organized. He keeps records and shit. For some things. Then there's other things that'll let lapse from, like, how the fuck did you forget? He had a bank account full of money he forgot about once, like part of his retirement.
Oh, wow.
And then the government's like, you didn't pay taxes on this. And he's like, what do you mean? And it's just like, how did you not file your fucking taxes?
Come on, Dad.
And then forget you had the money for it.
But you've got your VHS collection Dewey Decimal deal.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And you're just like...
Oh, that's funny.
Which is kind of shit I'll catch myself doing. I'm constantly like trying to, like, things that maybe were shortcomings of his, I'm trying to, like, all right, you might be predisposed to this kind of...
Yeah.
Like, he would never take the test to get rank. So he was like an E5 after 21 years in the Coast Guard, which is not good.
Yeah.
Like, you're not even allowed to do that anymore. They'll just kick you out. Like, if you're not going to advance, leave.
He was just cool.
He could have done it. He's smart enough and all that shit. He's terrified of, like, failure.
Oh, sure.
Like, the idea... Like the kind of guy who won't ask out a girl or something because she might say no, maybe. I had that when I was in high school.
Sure.
I'd be like, man, I'd rather just have a crush on this girl.
Yeah.
And in my head, like, well, maybe she would like me. It's like Schrodinger's girlfriend. I'm like, maybe this girl likes me, maybe she doesn't. But if I ask, I find out for sure.
I mean, I follow that logic.
And then she says yes, I have to date her, and I'm like, I don't know.
That's a whole thing. Yeah.
So not a whole lot of girlfriends.
How did he meet your mom?
He was my mom is from Chicago, but her mom's family's from this little place in Wisconsin near where I was living there called Washington Island. It's right off the peninsula in Lake Michigan there in Green Bay. And she was up there for the summer like they'd always do. And my dad was installing... the Coast Guard had him up there. And he was a communications guy. He can, like, put a fucking phone in anything.
Oh, okay.
So he's put some kind of, like, satellites or... I don't know what... You know, like, phones, basically. Whatever the hell you got, like antennas or something. And they told me he had to go put it on a dock. And then there's all these docks. There's, like, the main harbor. And one of them was my great-grandfather, I guess, had a dock. Okay. My family's, like, full of people who, like, had a few things going and then, like, really fucked it up. Like at one point, my family, like they had a lot of cool shit on this little like kind of podunk island. And I was like, man, that'd be pretty fun. We'd have like a dock and a farm. And then they're like, you know what else is fun? A lot of vodka. And you know what vodka costs? Money. But you know what you can get money for? Land. So
that actually reminds me a little of because I had Lisa Curry on, and her family kind of had to.
Yeah, they had like a marina, but they're all fucking the trashiest family. Like her brother wore a life jacket, like into fucking like a mile inland and shit. I've seen a photo of her little brother in a life jacket next to a fire. Like, that's the exact opposite of when you need that.
I mean, my whole thing too is like, I mean, because owning a marina seems like it should have been.
That's like rich people shit, right?
Well, it's like it seems like a cool way to grow up. You know what I mean?
It's fun.
Like you know, but then she tells that story about her brother wearing a life jacket all the time, and like, tell me that's not some like long lost member of the Goonies. You know what I mean? The life jacket kid. You know,
that's an alcoholic solution. It's I don't know if I'm taking liberties with Lisa's family. I don't know.
No, she's pretty open about it.
It's it sounds genius. It's one of those things, like alcoholics come up with these solutions. You're like, oh, it's brilliant. And then you're like, no, that's bad. That's, you have all these problems you refuse to solve. And then when you do solve a problem, you apply pretty good amount of intelligence to avoiding your big problem, which is you're too fucking drunk to watch your kids.
Absolutely.
So you're like, just put them in a life jacket.
This is just a really good looking Band-Aid.
Yeah. It's what... I'm not going to teach this fucker to swim, man. I'm definitely not going to stop fucking drinking booze. So, just put a life jacket on.
That story is so funny.
Yeah. That was a great time, I guess, in America. That's what it should be. Like, you can own something that seems lavish, like a marina, but you're just, like, lower middle class or something.
Garbage people.
Just, maybe you don't necessarily have to be an alcoholic. But, like, anything now, like, they'd be like, oh, you must have to have $1 billion.
Yeah, it's true.
Any kind of business near water.
Yeah, you didn't need a degree or college or no.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know,
back before everything was corporatized for maximum profit. It's like, no, everyone just make enough and have fun. I don't know if socialism's bad or whatever. It's like it could be chill. It doesn't have to be so the government tells you. It's just there's like 5 dicks is enough to fuck it up though.
It's true. That's all it takes.
Yeah, man. 5 very efficient assholes. You get like 5 Bezos. You get like a Bezos, a Branson, and a Musk, and it's like game over. Yeah. They got it all.
Yeah, and Elon Musk is weird. Like, he seems to, like, ride that line of, like, it's like, I kind of feel like he's on my team, but then he's got some wacky ideas.
He's a rich guy. It's like, even if he's got the best intentions, he's just never going to be able to, like, his brain's in this weird place, too.
It's true. I can't even imagine. Like, I've talked about it before, but it just seems like it'd be so hard to write comedy if you were rich.
Oh, yeah, because you wouldn't have... The comedy involves some level of empathy, for sure. It not necessarily like, oh, I recognize the play of the people and that's my thing. But, like, you can understand a situation from multiple points of view and then extrapolate humor out of it.
Yeah. And
then...
I mean, like
rich people are like, they just kind of understand how to get money.
Yeah.
And they're usually so, at least he's kind of fun with it. Rich people are so bad at being rich. They're like so boring all the time.
It's true.
Every time you meet a rich person, they're just like, I'm going to put it here, and then I do this, and I'm going to work. They always want to work all the fucking time. They like have boats they're never on. And you're like, what do you, like 2 kinds of people on boats. Rich people who are never on them. They get on them once and they hire photographers so people think that they're always on that fucking boat having fun. Or like the trashiest motherfuckers who can't afford a boat, but they're always on that motherfucker.
And they're having so much fun.
Yeah, and that's kind of, there is something beautiful, aside from the other problems with just white trash culture. There's a thread of just like, man, fuck it. And just like monster truck rallies, it's just like dumb fucking silly fun because you're like, my life's kind of fucked up and everything sucks. And like, what do you get anyway? Like a fancy gravestone? I mean, piss off.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Pauper's Field for me.
Nobody's gonna give you like a gold medal or anything at the end of all of this.
And not really white trash, just anyone poor.
Yeah.
It's weird. Poor people fight the most about like race or anything else. It's like, you guys should all get together and figure out how to have the most fucking fun.
Yeah, dude.
It's like, that's why, like, it's, I don't know if it's like cliche to say, but it is true. Like, black or even Mexican audiences, they laugh more. And I think it's because like just common society is already just like judging them and shitting on them so much. They're like,
Yeah.
well, I'm not gonna fucking hold in my laughs.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna make it hard to have a good time, when I'm having a good time, I'm having a fucking good time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna look around and find out if like someone from church might see me laughing
Sure.
at the fuck joke.
And if you're coming, like if you're going out, to a comedy show, and like things are tight, like money wise, you're more inclined to like get your money's worth out of the comedy show. Like no, I paid
You're
for
I
a
paid
good time.
$15 to be here.
Yeah, I paid for a good time. I'm gonna have a good time, And whereas if you're maybe more affluent, you're like, what's $15? Fuck it, like I don't have to have a good time. It's just $15. But
I'm no social statistician, but I've never seen a black guy cross his arms at a comedy show.
yeah,
Every fucking white dude over 40s comes in that way.
Yeah.
This fucking libtard better make me laugh.
Absolutely. Deal with that.
With that attitude, we're never gonna fail.
Forgot where we left off on your dad.
He was meeting my mom on Washington Island.
And
he had to put antennas on his dock. He ended up putting on my grandfather's dock on accident. And
now I remember the segue.
He was pissed, I guess, my great grandfather, about this scrawny necked little coastie putting a bunch of shit on his dock.
Oh, really? So this is your mom's.
My mom's grandpa. Yep. My mom's
grandfather
maternal grandfather
is really annoyed with your dad.
Is mad at my dad.
Uh-huh.
It kicks him off his dock, and it's just like old school. Get off my dock, shit, whatever people say. And then I never had a dock, so I don't know how you say it. That's how I'd say it. I'm like, yeah. And then so my dad, they move all this shit. I guess I never asked him how that day went. And then he just put the shit on the right dock. I don't know. And then my mom met him later at like I don't know, man. It was like the 70s or something. So probably everyone was standing in a field smoking weed around a fire. Wherever you met people in the 70s, like Leonard Skinner was playing. Everyone's pants were too tight at the top and
Tinder
big
was
at the bottom.
actual fire tinders. Yes.
Yes, yeah. Tinder was gathering around. Yeah, they were gathered around the tinder, which at that time was a real fire.
Yeah.
And you had to actually see someone's face from more than one angle.
Yeah.
And then they started dating, and she brought him home to meet her grandparents and parents and shit. And then
did they remember him?
Yeah, she said my dad got there and saw her grandfather. He was like white as a ghost. Like,
did your dad not realize that?
No, he didn't know. It was like from
hilarious.
like a movie or something.
That's too funny. And
my dad and his dad both got met their first wife stories.
Okay.
Mine's all right.
Yeah. Well, do you want to tell how you met your wife's story?
We were just working together in a garden center at a Shopco, and then she seemed to like me, and I was like, "You want to go to the bar?" And that's it. And then we just kept hanging out.
No, that's
We've
cool.
never even really been on a date. We've just been hanging out for like 13 fucking years.
She seems super cool.
Yeah, she's cool as shit. I like her.
Yeah.
Because it's just like there's no like. I mean, we've had romantic moments, but it's not like, oh, and then he came out of the like my dad's dad. This story is fucking incredible. I love this story. Maybe it's not that great, but I like it. It was, I don't know, it was probably in the 40s or some shit, and maybe the 30s. But everyone would do these motorcycle hill climbs. Like that was what there was. There used to not be many shows. There weren't seasons of things to look at a time. There was just like whatever fun you could make, I guess. And they would, so part of that was like you try to drive a motorcycle up a hill as far as you can. A hill you're not going to get to the top of. So it's just like, let's fall off of motorcycles. They still do that kind of shit, right?
Yeah,
it's like King of the Mountain kind of thing, hill climbs. You got like a harness where you latch into the bike so you don't fall off and all that shit. So there's this old photo of my grandfather and my grandmother near a motorcycle in this weird rider's harness shit. And apparently the story is everyone's going to ride out to the hill, whatever, you probably bring some beers or sodas and some cookout and drive up this just fucking boony fun, I guess. And they're getting ready to head out there, and my grandmother was like going as on a date with some other guy.
Okay.
And he was like, well, he said, I gotta leave early. And my grandma's like, well, I don't want to leave early. I'm down for the whole day here. And the guy's like, well, I can stay till this time, then I gotta go. And he was like, so what are you gonna do? And she looked at my grandfather and said, well, I'll ride home with him, with Rick. And then my grandfather said, if you're riding out with me, you're coming with me as my girl. And she was like, I'm on a date with him now. And they were together till she died after that.
Holy shit. That's a great story.
I don't know if that's now in modern age sexistly problematic.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, he didn't say you have to. He's just like...
He climbed the hill and her heart.
He goes, you could be on a date with me instead. And, Mr. Steal Your Girl.
That's great. Yeah. And so what's your relationship like with your dad? I mean, now that you're a grown-up and...
No, we don't talk.
Oh, no?
We didn't. I was mad at him. He cheated on my mom.
Oh, is that what
I was more mad, and you're just mad because you hear your mom's all mad. Like, you have to, he got to move out, and then I had to be in this fucking crazy house with a woman who's had her confidence shattered, and now is, like, dating this fucking psychopath who's, trying to be fake dad, which is we could do a whole other nightmare podcast about that guy.
Sure. And just real quick, did you have any siblings growing up?
Yeah, a little brother.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then that'll factor into this story.
Oh, okay.
So my dad left, and so, like, we'd fight, kind of, because I was, like, 11, so it's an age where you're supposed to start challenging your dad maybe on some Freudian level.
Sure.
But I was like, how could you do that? And he went and lived with after he got the Coast Guard, he was working for some company, and they were traveling Japan a lot. He's just classic, like, started fucking my coworker. And they got married and shit. And then it was just fine. Like, she wasn't like she was a stepmom, classic stepmom. Her kids and shit were cool. We'd go over there on Thanksgiving and stuff. Okay. And it was fun. Yeah. But then, I never feel like this matters. But, like, I guess she was black, which in the 90s, I guess people are like, an interracial couple. That's pretty
progressive, I suppose, for the 90s.
I guess, Dad's not like some progressive guy. He just likes pussy. And then, I think his wife now is Japanese. I think he's just doing, like, when you get a beer flight, he's doing it with, like, wives. He's on the wife flight.
Sure, okay. Yeah. So he's on his third marriage currently.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah, Rita, the only time anyone's... I hate this phrase, the race car, but everyone's like said I didn't like them because they're black, and I'll be like, fuck you, because she's like, I think you don't like me because I'm black. She always called me Richard.
She actually said that?
Yeah, and I was like, no, you fucked my dad on Christmas while he was married to my mom. This is not unless that's a thing only black people do, which I've never fucking heard of in my life. That's not even a stereotype. Like, black ladies will fuck your dad on Christmas while he's still married to your mom, and you have to decorate the tree all alone. Everyone's fucking sad.
Oh, man.
So I was like, I didn't like not like her. It was just, you're 11, and you're like, you fucked my dad at our house one time.
Yeah.
And my mom is sad all the fucking time, and I have to live there.
Yeah.
And our new not stepdad boyfriend guy around, he's not fun. But anyway.
That's rough, dude.
So I just be like, it's shit you just brush off. You're like, she's got these fucking white kids hanging around her house. I wouldn't be happy about it either. The food was good. Thanksgiving was great. She knew how to cook. And her kids were fun.
Oh, that's cool.
They were older than us, but it was, anytime you get to see older kids and talk to them, that's fun.
Yeah. And what's your brother do? He
works like a paper factory in Wisconsin. There's a lot of paper factories there. And he's now an EMT or something. He does like volunteer firefighter. I think he's hired now.
Yeah.
He's like saving lives. He's doing important shit.
Yeah. Sounds like a cool
making
dude.
paper and saving lives.
Making paper and saving lives.
But him and my dad don't get along at all. My dad doesn't like him or something.
Oh, really?
Like weirdly, like kind of like overt. Like you're not supposed to favor. I mean, people do it.
Yeah.
Like my dad liked me a lot, you know, and then. But like my brother, he's like, talk to your dumbass brother. Just never anything. And my brother had kids around the time my dad had a kid with his third wife.
Holy shit.
My dad had like a kid when he was like 60 or something.
Whoa.
Or 55. And, of course, it's exciting to him. He's got his little baby girl. He's finally, his wife, he moved to Japan and all this shit.
Wow.
And, but like he's like any new parent, he's still obsessed with his kid. My brother is like constantly trying to get my dad's approval.
Oh,
and feel accepted, and like even be like, will you visit your grandkids? And my brother ended up having to drive down to Virginia to take his kids to see like the whole fucking family. He's just not interested.
Wow, and your brother's making all this effort.
Yeah, it was really weird because I didn't even put in that much effort. My dad was actually, when we hung out, it would be pretty fun. We'd go up to New York and see his dad and shit. And it's not like I don't like my dad's done a lot of fucked up shit, and he's not good. He's not good with emotions and stuff like that. But I always tried to like temper how personal, how like not be that brooding I hate my dad guy.
Sure.
He's flawed. I remember once I got really shit faced when I was living in Chicago, like playing folk music, and called him up like 3 a.m., probably 5 a.m. his time or whatever it was, and just was like, I'm not mad at you anymore. I realize, I love mom too, but 18 years, I moved out after 18 years myself. Like, it occurred to me they'd been married to her for 18 years, and I moved out like pretty much on my 18th birthday. I was like, I mean, maybe just 18 years straight with her. You just need a fucking break, you know? I mean, I still love her.
Oh, that's funny.
So we talked more after that, but
yeah.
then just seeing him, the way he's kind of handled my brother, I just quit talking to him in this weird, like, I'm like, you don't get a la carte kids.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I'm not gonna be a son to a guy that won't accept it. Like, we're a package deal, me and my brother. Yeah, so he does. I've never told him that. I don't think. I just quit. Like, him and my brother my brother confronted him about it. He's like, why don't you care? You know, basically, like, I'm trying to be your fucking son. I want a dad and all this shit.
Yeah.
My brother had it real hard with my mom's boyfriend. I was a lot better at, like,
keeping your head down.
Yeah, finessing that. And, like, I played music and he was into music and shit. Like, and then, you know, I'd moved out before things were crazy. My brother's relationship with him ended with a gun in his fucking face.
Holy
so,
shit.
You know, like, he's traumatized.
Wow.
And so, you know, he's more like, all right, I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the age difference between you and your brother?
3 years.
Oh, okay.
So he's like 31 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when he was like 16 or 15, that happened.
God,
and
that's a lot to deal with,
like,
man. Holy shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's rough as shit.
I think that the solidarity between you and your brother, though, I mean, I think that probably, it's got to mean something to your brother, I would hope.
I think so.
You know?
I'm not the best older brother. Like, I forget his kids' birthdays and shit. Like, I'll remember and I call and I try and send, like, you know, I got the same fucking problem as any idiot who thinks he's going to be like a comedian. There's a certain level of, like, occupational narcissism.
Sure. 100, yeah.
You try and, you know, not let that become who you are.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love him to death. And it's just the same thing. Yeah. We're both our dad's kid in that way, maybe.
Sure.
But yeah, it's just like, I can't. I mean, I don't know. There's probably a better way to deal with it. But I'm like, yeah, I'm not. Also, it hurts him, I think, my brother, more to see if me and my dad have, like, if he's doting on me while ignoring him.
Yeah.
And my brother was there through my childhood way more than my fucking dad was. So I'm not going to put that on him.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Yeah.
How's your mom doing these days?
Oh, she's all right. She's a trooper.
Yeah.
Her life hasn't been the best to her.
Sure.
The problem is my mom's too nice. She's the nicest woman I've ever met.
Oh, really?
Like, everyone says, give your shirt off their back. But, like, really, she doesn't have that thing in her to watch out for herself before everyone else.
Yeah.
So it's always, like, it's not like a lack of ambition. It's just she doesn't have that certain drive to, like, and I have it, too, in a way where, like, I hate being in charge of people.
Sure.
I don't like the way it feels. Like, I don't mind a leadership role, but, like, any kind of hierarchy where I feel like I'm being placed, even performing. Like if the stage is over 1.5 feet tall, I'm, like, miserable.
Really?
And it's just a physical weird thing. I'm like, I don't like the way this feels. Like, I'm towering.
Interesting.
Over. I have trouble doing comedy with that because I'm like,
yeah.
you're supposed to have this charisma. Like, I'm the leader of the night, and I'm cooler than you
I'm
somehow.
the fucking Pied Piper.
Yeah. And it's just like half the time in the middle of my set, I want to be like, what do you think? Like, I've been talking for 30 fucking minutes already.
You and I were
Don't
talking
you guys
about
want to say anything?
Just weird crowd work.
Yeah, I think you're going to be all right.
We're going to do this, guys. This is a comedy show.
Even though in a conversation, I'll talk way too much. But that's like...
I mean, I don't know. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But so, yeah, she's, you know, she works in like a group home for back to, like, they're all developmentally disabled adults. It's since she's been doing that job, the vernacular for mentally,
I'm
whatever.
sure. Yeah,
I ain't saying anything else. You ain't getting me. People who their brain's been fucking with them.
Yeah. Is she still out in Virginia? Or
she lives in Wisconsin.
Oh, she lives in Wisconsin too.
Her mom and dad met in Chicago and all that shit. She's lived in Chicago. It was all growing up until she met my dad. Then, but her older brother, like, peeled off to, like, Neenah, Wisconsin to just kind of get out of the city and, you know, raise his kids out and wherever in Neenah, wherever the fuck that is.
She kind of followed.
Yeah, and then after she left, crazy guy in Virginia there, that point a gun at your kid. That's kind of the last straw.
Yeah.
I hope. And I told her, I was like, man, because they would break up like that and get back together a lot. And I was in the Air Force then. And,
I didn't realize you were.
No patriotism to that. And I'm not going to sit here and bash the military or anything else. I just was. I don't stand up at baseball games when they want to recognize the vets. I'm like, no, I was trying to grift my way out of the house and into college, and I picked one of the dumber ways to do it, and it worked out. I didn't get shot. But she called and was like, oh, all this happened. I was like, all right, look, I know you have a history of patching things up with this guy, but if you do it, you can gain him back, but don't call me. Yeah. And I was like, you can't be putting my brother and yourself. Jesus, he's beating her. And, fine. That's like one of the I should have just fucking murdered that guy when I was a kid. The kid is terrified usually. Those guys who could like beat up their dad, I'm always so like kind of amazed. Like, I didn't have that kind of like the military is fucked up as that can be. I'm glad I went to that because it kind of is like you have to kind of be an adult and like be able to, I guess, be a man. But this is shit you could teach a woman or whatever is in between. Anybody. It's just like, don't. We're gonna tell you what to do, but you don't spend your whole life just sitting around like a wet rag waiting to get used.
And that's. Something Mitch Burrow and I talked about was because he had kind of a chaotic upbringing, and you get to a point where you almost kind of like crave this structure because he went into the Marines, and you kind of just he was like,
it's nice to just know what you're supposed to do. Yeah, sometimes that's why like Steve Jobs wore the same fucking shirt every day and clothes. Yeah. He's already got to make a bunch of other decisions. He just has fatigue, and he's like, I'm just wearing these mom jeans and that turtleneck. I'll fucking make the future in this outfit. I don't care.
Go This is what the future looks like. Yeah. Suck it.
I'm doing it. You like your phone? Shut up about my shoes. That's that. So that part was after a life like that, where like, our house was real disciplined, but not in any kind of way. Like, what was okay changed from day to day. It was just like lunatics running some kind of asylum. So you're just like, it was basically set up so you were always in trouble so that you could stay grounded so that no one had to deal with you. Yeah. So it's just like, I always feel like I'm telling some like horrible abuse story, and I'm like, nah, I know guys who are like getting cigarettes put out in their fucking eyelid and shit. It's like, don't cry for me, Argentina.
But it's what makes you, got its significance.
Yeah, I don't need any pity or anything from it. But you're just like, these are a set of circumstances that, luckily, both myself and my brother and even everyone got out of. Sure. And like, things aren't so bad. They're pretty good, I think. I get sandwiches when I want. That's the best.
Sandwiches are great.
Yeah, that's it. That's on.
Well, we totally hit the mark, man. Do you have any like parting thoughts, parting dad thoughts, or you can also just plug your stuff if you.
You can look me up if you're like, man, I like this guy. Just rick-wood.com.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you dad stuff? It's like everything. Someone probably fucked him up. Mm-hmm. I hate like being like, gotta empathize with even anyone fucking up. It's like maybe you don't have to empathize, but it's like maybe it's not a reflection of you. Like sometimes you're like, my dad hated me. It's like, he probably just hated himself or something. Or whatever.
A lot of projection.
But there's also good. I went on a good note, maybe.
Yeah, I always like to ask you for like fun dad anecdotes. I mean, do you ever? Yeah, like do you ever have like a fun dad story, like you and your dad doing a thing or?
Fuck.
It's okay if you don't.
We both fell asleep at the wheel once.
Okay.
We probably do have a fun story. They're fun. There always is fun times, but for some reason you get in a mode where you're like,
sure.
The coded letters were fun because I think that really like at an early age like moved my mind to an analytical, or you know what I mean. You can do like nerd shit, I guess. Like, patterns, and I don't know how useful that is, but I still have fun doing that kind of crap.
Having forcing a different perspective. If that's
so
what
he did. And he nurtured reading and stuff. Yeah, I feel like I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna come in here and just bash my fucking dad.
I didn't mean for it to go that way.
No, I don't know if I did. I mean, it's just the truth.
I think it was all really interesting stuff. Yeah,
he's fine. I always hope he's just like doing all right. That's the only reason why I don't talk to him. I'm just like, I don't think we need. It's not like even like I'm mad. I'm like, I think we're done.
Yeah.
Like it sounds so weird. Like some people are like, fuck, my dad sucks. I'm just like, we did. It's fine. Mm-hmm. He's got. Hopefully, I think he's gonna do an all right job with Mizuki. Or maybe bleep that. I don't know if it's.
Sure.
Who gives shit?
Yeah.
Whatever. How many there are? Hey, I don't know how the ethics are of naming your half sister you ever met.
Gee.
I think he'll do a good job with that kid. I hope he does. Her mom seems great. She's a real intelligent lady, and he's super sweet.
He seems like he's at I mean, I don't know. It seems like most men tend to chill out at about that age too.
Yeah.
I mean, that was something again I've talked about on the show. It seems like when they close in like from 60 to 70, there's this crazy like wind down.
You start to realize that all the things you thought were gonna be what made your life important, probably those aren't like getting the right car or shit that people forget about.
Yeah.
And then it's like Walk the Line, not Walk the Line. Walk Hard, much better movie.
The Dewey Cox.
And when you realize it's about your family and all that. And then, but I mean, I also feel like I don't think he needs me, and I don't need him, and not in a I don't need you dad way. Yeah. It's like I'm at an age where I should have a kid. I'm just not gonna have one.
Sure.
So like it's fine, and then I just I'm like I'll just give you the space to raise. You got another family. They'll be your family now. It's everyone's. And my mom's remarried to a really great guy.
Oh, good.
Now.
That's great.
My brother's got a family. Like, everyone's done with the relationship.
Yeah.
And then, like, growing up, I had my mom's younger brother, who I didn't see a whole lot, who I lived near in Chicago. He's like a father figure in a way, but not where he had to do dad stuff, because he's pretty close to he's only like 18 years older than me. For like uncle, that's pretty...
Yeah, that's pretty close, yeah.
We like all the same music and hanging out. But he's always been a good role model.
Sure.
I think that's important. If you don't got any good male role models in your immediate life, you don't have to be your dad if you don't feel like your dad's doing a good job.
Right.
You find someone around.
Yeah.
But for me, it was my Uncle John, where I'd be like... Okay, this guy's goofy and cool and weird. Like, I like this guy, and his kids love him, and his wife he's got it. Like, so I can do this. It's in my blood to have a normal fucking life if I want it.
Right.
So that's nice to see.
No, that's great. I mean, you kind of found a way to define, masculinity and how to be that. I mean,
all right. I got two funny dad stories of mine. If I'm dragging it out, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, you're fine. Yeah.
I just remembered these two things. It was one's real sad, and one's real funny, and we'll do them in chronological order, so it ends on sad.
Okay, that's perfect.
Beautiful. Once, about the time when we were getting ready to ditch the house, where everything was just fucked. And in fucked, I mean just in a very, like, not a big deal way. But at the time, you're like, my life sucks. I live in this house I have a house I don't like. That house was nice. Just where it was located wasn't that great. Yeah. We just didn't, me and my wife didn't know what the fuck we were going to do. We couldn't sell this house and things. This was like one of those weeks where you're like, I fucked my life up and I'm 26 or whatever. God damn it. And I think everyone has that in varying degrees of intensity. Yeah. But it always all feels like the end of the world, even if in some cases it's something as simple as whatever I was dealing with.
Yeah.
But I decided I would change my own oil in this minivan I had because we had a minivan because I had a band,
Oh, right.
And because I was really cool. And for whatever reason, I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change my fucking oil. And then I did it. I accomplished. And I'm taking control of my life in this symbolic act of changing. So I drove all around town, picking up all the bullshit I need. Like, I got to get an oil pan. And
funnel.
It's like $50 buying all this shit. And I get under the van to try and crank that plug off the oil pan that drip into the little oil catcher thing. And I can't get it to budge, and I broke a socket wrench and like broke another thing, almost stripped the bolt, wouldn't. And then tried to call my dad, and he didn't answer. He was probably at work or something. But then I was like, I need a dad right now. Because I'm like, he should have showed me this. Like, why can't I do this?
Yeah.
He didn't answer, and then I was just like, that just set off everything else. I was like, you're useless. You're not even a fucking full person. You can't, because I couldn't change the oil. Or just because I was in a lot. I felt out of control of my life. And I didn't feel like anyone could help me or was around to. And so I'm just sitting on this chair like despondent, and my wife comes home and she's like, how's your day? You all right? And I'm like, I didn't say anything. I was just like in this fucking like 1,000-yard stare, like, God damn it, man. And she goes, did you change the oil? And I just started fucking crying like a blubbering baby. I was like, I couldn't do it. I fucking broke the wrench. I don't know how to do anything. I didn't go to college. I don't have a good job. I don't know what. I can't get us out of this house. I got no direction. And I called my fucking dad just for help with the oil, and he doesn't answer. And then the phone rings, and it's my dad. I try to compose myself. I go, I can't get the bolt to come off the oil pan to get the oil out. it's too tight. And he's like, were you driving around getting all the stuff? I was like, yeah, I went and got the oil. I had to drive down to Sturgeon Bay and get the fucking oil and drive back. It's like 25 miles each way. And he's like, yeah, the oil pan's too hot. The bolt's probably expanded up. He goes, if you got it off, you'd have burnt your fucking face and hands. And I was like, oh, I immediately felt better. I was like, oh. He goes, how much did you spend buying all that shit? I was like, I don't know, like 40, 50 bucks. He's like, what's it cost to get your oil changed? I was like, it's like 25. He's like, just get your fucking oil. He goes, you don't have to change your own oil. He goes, they're going to look and check the car for other shit then anyway. And I took it in there like your brake lines are about to bust. So if I changed my own oil, if he'd have taught me to change my oil, I'd be dead. So sometimes it's, you know, about what you don't get.
That's great.
The other thing that's sad is I never tell this story. I just feel bad. It's fun. I wonder if my dad listens to this kind of shit because he sees me on Facebook. And Dad, if you're listening, I love you and I'm not mad at you, but you know, be involved with your daughter there, because I don't want this to happen to someone again. My dad's dad died a few years ago, and it's the only time I remember hearing my dad cry. He called me. He was fucking bawling like I was about the oil.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what the fuck. It was like I don't remember what I said. I was just like, it'll be, you know, it's like that. I never know what to say with that because I got like a weird view of death and life and time and metaphysic bullshit that no one wants to hear at a funeral. We're like, nah, they just exist on like a fucking. I mean, time isn't really linear, man. They're alive. They're just alive over there. Like time's geographic. People are like, fuck you, hippie.
Yeah, get out of here.
So I'm just like, you know, he's not suffering like that shit. But there was this whole thread in my head where I'm like, I don't know what to fucking say to you because I have no idea what you just lost. And that's kind of your fault.
Oh, shit. That's heavy,
like,
dude.
God damn it.
Yeah. Oh, that's...
So, like, I felt fucking helpless to help my dad because he didn't prepare me to be able to help him in that moment.
Yeah.
So it's like a weird thing where it's like...
Well, and I
didn't help either. You know,
well,
as being a teenager, it's like, fuck you, man. Cheat on my mom.
Absolutely. I mean, and his first thought was to call you. You know, I mean, and to think about all those times that you really needed him, but he couldn't. You know, absolutely.
Yeah, maybe, subconsciously or something.
Yeah, that's. Well, that was dude. That was a great episode. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on.
A ton of fun talking
cathartic.
to you. Rick-wood.com, everybody, because he's off promoting himself, so I'm going to do it for him.
Yeah, go on there, and there's a website. I don't know what you could do on it.
It's actually a pretty cool website. I love it. It's real simple, but it's pretty cool. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks a bunch, Rick.
Thank you.
And we're back. Rick Wood, ladies and gentlemen. It was great, right? It was awesome. I'm going to have all of his info linked in the show notes for this if you want to check it out. He's got, we mentioned it in the show, and I mean it. He has some really cool fucking t-shirts, you guys. So buy that stuff if you can. Support Rick. He's a working comic. If you want to support me, there is the Sad Dad Patreon. If you want to subscribe to that, help support this show that you're listening to. Also, ratings and reviews on iTunes help a lot too. So I haven't plugged that in a little while. So if I get a couple more of those, and if you leave me an iTunes review, I'll read it on air. So. Oh, yeah, there was one more thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. So next week I have a great episode coming out with a guy named Chris Estrada, comedian out of L.A. But between now and then, I'm going to have a very special edition of Sad Dad coming out, the Father's Day Sad Dad, with a special guest on there that has not appeared on this show before. So look for that on Sunday. It's my Father's Day gift to you guys. Abby. I'm still recording. What were you singing? Nothing? She's sitting over there. She's watching The Simpsons with the headphones on right now. So that's it, you guys. I will catch you guys real soon. Thanks so much for listening. Adios. Say adios, Abby. Abby. Yell adios. Yell adios. Adios. Nice.